ready?
Why'd you look at me like that?
Because I was laughing because, Rick asked for 10 more minutes. And I was like, I'm not even going to tell Renae because you're going to have 10 more minutes. Like, I don't have to ask her.
I didn't realize, thanks for the 10 more minutes, Rick. I needed a...
Exactly. So when Rick goes, can I have 10 more minutes? I'm like, well, if I tell Renae 10 more minutes, Rick, that means 40 more minutes.
Yeah. No, but it's because I was packing.
Oh, dude, it is unbelievable how long it takes you to pack.
Well, no, because there's a whole system. One, I'm packing for me and the kids. And then I want our clothes to coordinate because when you travel, you take pretty pictures. So I try to color coordinate us and pack us all together so that we just pull out that day of clothes and Garrett's not ruffling through it all.
Everything is extra.
No, and then I don't want to overpack.
I'm fat today. I gained a little weight. You look fantastic, as always.
And my big old poofy sleeves. Aren't these cute?
You look so beautiful, love.
Thank you. You look good, too.
Did you? Oh, stop. Don't do it. Don't do it in front of the podcast.
Okay, I tried.
You did try. I'm wearing the same bullshit I always wear. I'm excited.
I think that you wore this tank top in season 1 of the podcast, actually.
3 years ago?
Maybe in the very first episode.
Maybe. It's a great tank top. And that's why I buy tank tops because...
And then you wore it every other week thereafter.
Like I said, all the gross parts that get gross, they don't touch. So it's perfect. First of all, Aztec Chevrolet.
Yes.
It has been an honor and a pleasure to work with those guys. And we continue to work with them. So thank you, Aztec Chevrolet, for your continued support. So please give them a chance, Aztec Chevrolet. And nothing makes me happier when I'm in Toledo, Ohio, and somebody goes, Aztec Chevrolet. It's so cool.
When they shout it from the audience, right?
It's really cool. And then, of course, our friends at Old Salt Coffee are just... We're doing so many cool things with those guys, and I can't wait to give away my little challenge coins, right, that we got.
I can't wait to see them. I think they're going to arrive while we're gone this week.
The 14th. What's today?
That's today. They're supposed to get here today.
So they should be getting here today with 50 other things. That reminds me. Shoot. I got to get the trash out.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. It's trash day. You continue.
Oh, right. Well, you pull all the trash cans. I think, Rick, we're really going to have to... I was going to say, I think we're really going to have to pause on this one. We have so much trash because I ordered furniture. I pulled the trigger on furniture. It actually arrived and came in, and we had to unbox everything. So our garage is full of boxes right now that need to go to the curb. So that's why trash day is so important. Oh, road manager Timmy's here too. Timmy's going to pull the trash out.
Yes, he's going to pull the trash out.
And all the boxes. I just told them that the reason we have so many boxes is because I finally pulled the trigger on furniture and it came.
Oh, don't even get me started. We are, and then, pick cherries.
Yes.
We might as well start the episode by announcing our winner. Rick, who is the winner? Hold on, let me put the phone up here so people can hear.
Do I get a drum roll or anything?
Wait. I know. I was going to say, let's explain for someone who's just hopping in. This winner is going to get a paid-for trip, plane tickets for 2, to see you performing live in Austin, Texas.
Oh, and hotel room. And VIP tickets.
They're going to come backstage. They're going to hang out with us at the Paramount Theater in Austin, Texas.
When are we doing Austin?
Let me see.
Check.
Do I have it on the calendar? When is Austin? It's in September, isn't it?
You had to download Pick Cherries, and if you downloaded Pick Cherries and filled, was there a form, Rick?
Yeah, there was a form.
They had to fill out a form. We ended up with a lot of people, so whoever wins is like one in a couple thousand.
It is on November 5th.
November 5th. Austin, that's a great time to be in Texas.
Yeah.
November 5th. Who is the winner?
The winner is Shannon Scott.
Shannon Scott.
Shannon Scott.
Shannon Scott is the
Congratulations.
winner of the Pick Cherries
We
trip.
will see you in Austin, Texas. I believe that since I don't do shit, Rick or somebody is going to let you know via email, or I don't know how it works, but
thank you to everyone who participated. That was fun.
Yes, it was very cool. I think we need to do it again. I'm trying to convince Old Salt Coffee to do something like that. You know, something really cool like that.
I like it.
So thank you, Shannon Scott, for entering, for being a fan, for supporting the Treviños and Pick Cherries. Thank you so much. We will see you in Austin. We're going to film it. We're going to meet her. We're going to hang out. It'll be cool. Well, tell me about the big reunion, dude. You were there all single and ready to mingle.
Oh, I was not single. I actually remember to take my wedding ring on this trip, which I often forget. So
all I could think about was like all those dudes in high school that had a crush on you.
No.
And then you show up with...
I had no eyebrows in high school. I went back and looked at pictures. Thank God they grew back because I had tweezed the shit out of my eyebrows.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about all the dudes that were like, I want to be with Renae. And then you showed up without me, and I can't imagine how they were hitting on you.
No, most people were there with their significant other. I think maybe there were a handful of us who weren't there with someone.
But it was cool. And you know, I was talking to you about it, and you were like, you know, the episode before, you were like, I don't know. But you really enjoyed it, right?
I did. I had a good time. Once we like got everyone together, it's exactly what you said. It's like when you get all those people together, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time. And a lot of people were like, let's not let it go another 10 years. Let's do a reunion in 5 years.
And then of course, Renae brought her balloon arch skills to the game. Dude,
I traveled with my balloon pump.
Did you really?
I did.
Did you bring the balloon arch thingy too?
No. Another girl said she was going to make one, but she did not have a high-powered pump like I did. So I showed up to help make the balloon arch the night before.
At least something's getting blown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You like that? Uh-huh. But how was it? Tell me, was there somebody that you forgot you were close to and then showed up and you were like, oh yeah, we had a lot of great memories together?
There was a group of us that like hung out together. A lot of my friends in high school several of my good close friends were guys. And you get married and life happens and you become a mom and you make babies and, you know, you just go, I think getting married had something to do with it, right? It's not as like socially acceptable for me to hang out with a bunch of dudes when I'm a married woman. So, they were there with their dates, and so it was great to meet some of them, and so it was great to meet.
Which by the way, which cracks me up because, you know, when I went to high school, you know, and we went to the same high school. For those of you that follow, you should know that. But you know, we all hung out in a big group, and it was males and females.
Yeah,
and we were all very close. So then when I went to my reunion with Renae, when Renae and I first started dating, Renae would be like, "This is weird. You're friends with her? Why are you friends with her?" And I'm like, because we were all friends, and then now you're sitting there going,
I did not
wait a
say
minute.
It was weird. What I thought was weird was the way they would like hang all over you and like grope you and things like that.
I mean, look at this chest, dude. They take advantage when they can, bruh.
I thought that was like a little bit much, you know? I have respectful bodily boundaries with other people.
Stop. But it was exciting to see that group again.
Yeah, it was cool for us to like all get to visit. It wasn't enough time. I'm bummed.
I didn't even think about this. Like it is. I forgot. It is also cool to see the people that they married.
Yeah, like one of Marshall, I hadn't actually like met his wife and got to visit with her, and they have like the 3 most beautiful little boys with like curly hair, and so it was a pleasure to like get to see who he's making a life with, you know. Yeah,
like you know, Angela Dugash, for example, we hit it off with her and her husband, and she was always such a very classy girl, you know, and her husband is very well put together, but also funny and cool to hang out with. So it is cool to see that these friends that you have and who they marry.
Become. Yeah, right? And I was a drama nerd, so like one of my friends, JJ, everyone in our class knew him as the kid who was like always attached to a camera. That was his thing. He goes, thank God there was not like Facebook during the day because I would not want all the shit that JJ recorded on Facebook.
Right.
That would be awful. But he put together a slideshow for the reunion and he had like footage from graduation. I don't know where he got it or how he got it, but it was really cool.
Did you Were there some people that you saw?
He was one of the people who like did not look, I don't know what you're going to ask, but he was one of the people who like did not age. Like he still looks exactly the same. There were a couple of people who.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah. I'm
life's been rough on you,
like,
buddy.
Oh, no. That was like good genes. That's people who like have legit good genes.
Well, and it's also funny, when you, there's some people that are unrecognizable.
Yeah.
There were some people in high school where they're like, hey, Steve. And I'm like, and then it took me a minute to go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You do not look anything.
You know what's cool about like this age, though, is I think that like I didn't go to the 10-year reunion because we lived in California. So I didn't make that one. But I think there's something about like when you're at this point out, everyone's gone through like that awkward post-college phase of trying to figure yourself out. Everyone feels a little more comfortable.
You start becoming who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think everyone's cool with who they are. Like, this is life. This is me. And it just makes it so much easier to like enjoy everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And you're confident in who you are, and you're, hopefully you're confident with your spouse, and but then I think about Rocky, the never married.
Oh, he had a blast. Rocky was the life of the party. He made the reunion like a 3-day event. There was he partied Friday night.
Everybody else has kids. Everybody, he
Yeah.
was all about it. But I'm glad you went, and I'm glad you had a really good time.
I was a little nervous because Rocky and I took like a remake of the homecoming picture with the homecoming pose.
Because Renae was homecoming queen.
I sent it to you.
And Rocky was homecoming king, and Rocky is my cousin.
And you didn't respond for a long time, and so I was like,
I was working.
I was did not find this funny.
I was working. I was in, and by the way,
Rocky said you told him to keep an eye on me.
I did. I said, please take care of my wife.
Why?
No,
what did you think was gonna happen?
No, nothing. I just want him to make not keep an eye on like you're gonna blow some dude, right? Because
that's so vulgar and like foul. The way
I'm just saying.
Said that.
No, I was saying keep an eye on her if she needs any help or because a lot of times you have you do a lot, and I wanted him to help you out. That's all.
I do a lot. What do you mean?
Well, you're building balloon arches, and
no, the bummer was I got there like an hour late because I had to deal with the bed fiasco in Rockport, and I didn't want to show up at my reunion all like hot and sweaty from putting together a bed.
The whole thing.
So.
I was in Toledo, Ohio, and then I read the comments, and somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, after every city, you always talk about." The city, you saw that? I read
that too, and I felt bad that we didn't talk about Buffalo, and they felt like you just sort of like grazed over it and didn't say anything good about Buffalo.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's because
it was it was like we hadn't done an episode for a whole
right,
week.
And so we were kind of off and trying to. But I love Buffalo, and that club is amazing, and the people there are amazing, and I don't want people to think that I don't love Buffalo. However, there was also a very, very sad thing that happened in Buffalo. The week before.
Yeah.
So to the people in Buffalo, and specifically that person, please know that I love your town, and I think your town is amazing, and I'm glad to have been able to perform for the people of Buffalo. So Toledo, Ohio is where I was this weekend.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you about Toledo. Toledo is Toledo. We had a lot of people from Detroit come in.
What does that mean, Toledo is Toledo?
Well, Toledo is not a town that you think of like, I want to go to Toledo.
I know, that's why I was like, let's have the class reunion that weekend.
It's a secondary market, and the people are amazing. And the here's what...
When you refer to it as a secondary market, that means like it's a smaller market, correct?
Yes. It's a smaller market to a big market.
Right.
Right? But of course, here's what was really special about it. I had not realized that I had not been to Toledo in over 6 years.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, people reminded me that I was there 6 years ago, and the week was October 14th, which means that I had taken off to be with Garrett for 2 weeks because he was born on October 9th.
Yeah.
And then I went to Toledo.
That was your first week back.
Yep. And it was cool because this one family, he goes, dude, he's like, I remember how in love you were with your son. And he goes, you had just had your son and you were talking to me about your son. He's like, I really remember that. I was like, oh man, that was 6 years ago. Now,
I don't know why that just made me get teary-eyed, just like thinking about that, Garrett being born.
It was really special. But what I do remember, and again, I don't like naming names, but 6 years ago, I had the week in Toledo, and then they came to me and said, Steve, and this happened a lot in my career, but this one I remember very specifically. They said, Steve, a so-and-so is in town filming a movie, and that so-and-so would like to have your late show.
The last time you were in Toledo.
Last time I was in Toledo.
Okay.
And they go, they want your late show. Right.
Yeah.
And when you don't sell a bunch of tickets, they can push you around like that. Right. And I said, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
No big deal. They can have my Saturday late show, whatever. And at that time, I was 6 years ago. People were buying tickets, but not in droves.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was still money for you or for us and our family.
Yep. And I remember getting there, and that somebody who I consider to be not a good person, and I know them very, very well. The line was out the door after my first show. People were
waiting to get in to see them. Yeah.
The line was nuts. There was a buzz in the room about, oh my gosh, we're here to see so-and-so.
Yeah.
And I just knew that it was different than me. Right. I knew that at that time in my career, it wasn't a buzzy feeling like that.
Right.
I also knew that somebody would not even acknowledge them afterwards. I knew that somebody.
You mean the people in the audience?
In the audience.
Yeah.
I knew that somebody would not sit outside and thank them and take a picture with them. And I had this feeling of
Adequacy?
Inadequacy.
Is that the word you're looking for?
I had a feeling of, and by the way, this person is started comedy at the Comedy Store same time I did.
Yeah.
And I just remember having this feeling of like, oh,
yeah,
it's different, right? That person, people are way more excited to meet that person.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a great feeling. And I went backstage and I said hi to him and we said what's up or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember having a feeling of like, oh, I'm not even close. Like I'm not there, So it was a really great feeling to go back there specifically and have that feeling for all my shows where people were excited to be out. There was a buzz about, we're here to see Steve and we're excited about it and we know his stuff. And so there was a real feeling of like, oh, wow, right? A lot has happened in my life in 6 years, right? Because shortly after that is when things for me started really getting nutty, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like it was shortly after that, after Garrett was born.
Right after Garrett was born, things went crazy. And it was just a really good feeling to come back to the place that gave me that feeling, to then have the feeling of, oh, now I'm here.
Yeah.
And now and also a reminder to me that I'm going to be very appreciative of the people that came out.
Yeah.
Right.
That came back after. Do you have a lot of repeat
several
people? Yeah.
Several people came back, and we had people, drive in from Detroit. Several people came in from Detroit.
I know Michigan has been asking for you to come. I see those comments.
And it was just a really special weekend in Toledo to have that feeling. Right. And it did make me go back to that day. I remember so specifically, walking in and knowing that, oh, this guy's at a different level than myself, right?
Yeah.
But the shows were awesome and fantastic. And we did go to the casino afterwards. They do have a casino.
Yeah.
It's called Hollywood Casino. And we went out there and we did our thing. And Dave was laughing because, it's like, I don't know, it's 2 a.m. We're last call for alcohol Friday night. So then, I tell Timmy, I'm like, all right, dude, we'll grab an Uber. We can't find an Uber. We can't find a Lyft. And we can't get a hold of a taxi.
No way.
So Dave.
What time is it?
It's like 2:30. So Dave and Timmy are like, all right, hunker down, boys. I guess we're going to stay at the casino, right? I mean, because we're kind of...
get a room at the casino?
They don't have rooms.
Oh.
So we're like, what the fuck, right? But the guy that I had been playing.
Somehow I don't believe that was your response.
No, we were ready to go.
Yeah. You'd lost all your money?
No, I was up. Chingos. So I'm sitting there, and the guy sitting next to me was like, pay me, I'll give you a ride home. I'm like, all right.
That's a little scary, though.
Right? So I'm like, you got it, dude. I'll pay you.
He seemed like a solid dude?
I didn't care. I wanted to get home. So we jump in this dude's truck.
But pay me, I'll take you home, and I'll take your winnings.
Well, that's what Dave was like, dude.
Yeah.
He saw you win. Like, I was up like several $1,000s, and he's like, bro, what's gonna happen, right? So me and Timmy go there, and Dave was like, man, I've never done that in my life. Like, that freaked me out the whole time. I was like in the back going, this guy, and then he misses the turn. So he misses the turn to take us to the hotel.
So now you think he's taking you someplace else.
I don't care. Timmy doesn't care. Dave's like, oh my God, like what's happening right now, right?
Where's Hula Dula when you need her?
Yeah, I need Hula Dula to give me a ride. So, dude, Dave was so stressed out. We get there, and Dave goes, I've never done that. And I was like, oh, me and Timmy have been in cars with way worse people than that, right? But all in all, it was a really great weekend. And
I feel like you could do a whole series like people in cars and just like
random
the random
people,
situations you found yourself in.
The random people I meet and the hula dulas of the world.
All the time.
What are you guys talking about?
Do what? I missed that.
What are you guys talking about? Like, what's the conversation like?
Oh, we're laughing in the car, and I'm talking to the dude. You know, he had a brand new Z71 Chevy Silverado. He tells me that he drives the silver one, and his wife drives a black one. So they both have Chevy Silverados. We're chatting it up with the guy.
Steve asks questions all the time. Steve is very curious. That's what it is. It's fun for you. Like, Steve is really curious to get to know people, because when we drove home with the girl at Austin, when we were from Houston to Austin, when we got stuck at the airport, I fell asleep. But the whole time you guys were talking and you were asking her questions. And
I truly love learning about other human beings.
Yes. I
really learn, and you learn. I learn a lot.
It's like a psych study for you, I think.
It is a psych study, and I want to know about that person. I want to know, why they do what they do. What do they do?
Yeah.
How did they end up there? I mean, that girl from Austin, to learn that her husband before COVID, our boyfriend before COVID, was an opera singer.
Yeah.
And completely lost his entire career over COVID. Yeah. Completely lost it and has not recovered.
He's trying to figure out what he's going to do next.
Yeah, now
because
he doesn't.
Opera tours are kind of gone.
And he was kind of a bigger opera guy, and now because the tours are gone, they're bringing in. So I just love, and you learn so much about humanity.
Yeah.
By talking to people, learning about who they are, and I have a real interest in the human being.
You do. And I think like staying rooted and connected in something that's real and relatable. You always wanted to be relatable and relate to people. And
I want to understand people more.
Yeah.
Right. It was so interesting to me that, he did not know who I was. So it made it even better.
You love that.
And I love it even more.
Yeah.
And then Timmy at the end, right when we're about to pull up, goes, hey, by the way, this is Steve Trevino. He's at the Toledo Funny Bone. You should come to the show. And then we get a message later from him going, holy shit. Like, I can't believe I was in the car with you. You're like a fucking thing. You know what I mean? And he ended up coming to the show Saturday night and he brought his wife, and he was like, I told her, I didn't even know who you were. And we were in the car together, and you just seemed like a regular dude, and, blah, blah, blah. So it was just a really cool experience. But I also feel like in order for me to be truly good at what I do, to truly understand people and who they are and how they feel and what they've been through, makes me a better comedian.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and, I feel like, people go, oh, well, Steve does relationship material. Who hasn't done relationship material?
Yeah.
I think I do it better. Because I understand the relationship.
Yeah.
Because I understand women. Because I understand, and I think that I go on a deeper level when people come up to me and go, "Oh my God, like it's so detailed. Your ability to tell this story.
People always say it's like you have a camera in my living room.
Right. It's the same argument me and my wife had. It's the same feelings that I have, right? So I think that because of my interest in the other human has led me to a point where when I speak on stage, I can really speak in a way that is truly an understanding of the person.
Yeah.
Right. I always talk about, my cousin, several cousins who are very close to me and friends who came out of the closet, right, as gay. I really wanted to know more about them, right? How does it feel? How do you feel when this was happening or when that was happening? So that if I ever do speak about gay people, I truly understand.
You come at it from that place.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't speak about things unless it is clear to the audience that, oh, this guy knows.
It's a shared experience.
One of the funniest comedians out there, in my opinion, is a guy named Quindell. I don't know if you know Quindell.
I've met him before, I think. Didn't you do the Doghouse Comedy Jam with him or something back in the day?
No, I think you met him. I think you met him with Brad Garrett at Brad Garrett's because Brad Garrett's a huge fan of Quindell, and Quindell, he does a lot of humor about black people, and he's a very white dude. But when he does it so good that you go, this dude knows. This dude obviously hangs out with a lot of black people and totally understands, right, what he's talking about. Because he has that.
That's hard to get away with that. And
he's so good at it. But I also think, again, like really being able to connect with people and understanding people and what do they always say? Don't judge somebody unless you've walked a day in their shoes.
Yeah.
I like to walk a day in their shoes. I like to get to know what is it like being in your shoes.
Yeah.
That was something that Dave J and I were talking about because, Dave looks. By the way, Dave's the opening act that I'm touring with now. Dave looks very Middle Eastern. Mm-hmm. Dave is Middle Eastern, half Puerto Rican, and the Puerto Rican didn't help, right? So he looks very Middle Eastern, but one of the things he talks about, he goes, "Man, I don't identify with the Middle Eastern side. His dad abandoned him, so he didn't grow up with a Middle Eastern father." And he goes, I feel very American.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't feel like I look. So I told him, I go, man, you want to talk about something great to talk about?
Yeah.
Right? Something that shows the world and America that, hey, I am American. Yeah. I know what you think I look like, but I don't identify with
especially because traveling with him, we see how people interact with him and exchange with him. Because they make assumptions based on the way he looks, for sure.
Well,
which sounds so silly that still happens, and even in like.
Well, what's even funnier is the fact that Middle Eastern people go up to him and speak to him in Middle Eastern, and he looks at them like, "Who are you talking to?" And he's like, "Steve, I forget what I look like." Right? Because he's Mr. Disney. He's married to a very white woman from Florida. Yeah. His kids are ethnically ambiguous, right? So I told him, I go, you want to talk about something really cool to talk about.
Yeah.
Right? Is the fact that you look like you look, however you feel very American, right? And he goes, Steve,
I hope he starts writing about that. I love that.
That was our big discussion this weekend was, man, I'd really, because he's like, I don't want to do race. And I go, yeah, but you're not doing race.
It's a completely different.
It is about race, but it is really about
his experience.
Right. I mean, but it's also kind of the same angle that I take. I'm American. Yeah. I'm very proud to be American. I was born and raised in this country. My father served in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Am I proud to be Latino and have Latino roots? Yeah. Abso-freaking-lutely.
I was going to say, meanwhile, you've got the Mexican flag on your arm.
Yeah, the Mexican flag, the Texas flag, and the American flag, because that's what makes up who I am.
Yeah.
Right? You look at somebody like Dan Udovic, right? Who's Croatian. He loves being Croatian, but man, he loves this country.
Yeah.
Right? And when you have somebody, it's even more heightened when you look at somebody like Dave, who the stereotype is, you must hate this country. You hate the West. You hate the way the West does things,
Yeah.
right? And for him to go, no, I love all of it. I love going to Disney. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just told Dave, I go, look, man, you want to talk about something really cool to tackle in stand-up comedy, that's something that's, and I think there's a lot of people that feel that way.
Oh, for sure. For sure, for sure.
And you look at African American or black people where they go, we don't know anything else but America. Right? We don't have I don't have any roots or any traditions from Africa. I was born and raised right here in America. My grandparents, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm American. So I don't know. I just think it's something really cool. But yes, I definitely do human research.
I think that that would make you a really good dramatic actor. That trait.
I feel like stand-up comics are the best dramatic actors.
Because they have some dark brains and can go some dark places that a lot of people don't feel comfortable
Most
going.
comedians have dealt with a lot of hardship in their life.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Jim Carrey, who has in my opinion has truly at this age of his life has taken off the clown mask.
Yeah.
And he refuses to be the clown. Right? And,
does he still do stand-up? Does he still tour as a comedian?
He doesn't do stand-up.
No.
But he's dug into art. He's become very more vocal.
Creative in other ways. Yeah.
When he does interviews, he doesn't feel the need to be, I'm Jim Carrey, you know.
Yeah.
And he's become this a little bit more of a serious person. Dave Chappelle.
Oh, for sure.
You know, young Dave Chappelle was goofy and all
you almost
about,
feel like Dave Chappelle's turned into a public speaker, a public orator, as opposed to like a comedian.
Oh, I said it when I hosted the Post-Star Awards. Dave Chappelle is no longer a comedian. Dave Chappelle is an American treasure. He is a philosopher. He is somebody that walks on stage and is changing things.
Yeah.
Truly changing things. You know, Dave Chappelle struck a big blow against this woke bullshit.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle went on Netflix, did what he did, said what he wanted to say, and stood his ground, and America got behind him for the most part.
Yeah.
And Netflix said, we're keeping him. I don't care how much you bitch or complain or protest.
Shocked.
Because it's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Because the man now has enough power to change the world. You know, Joe Rogan. You know, Joe Rogan, here's a guy who would be considered a meathead, a jock,
you don't think of him as a comedian.
As a muscle-bound moron, if you will, but now he has this podcast that is literally changing the way, making differences.
Yeah.
Right? Positive or negative, the man is changing things, right? Robin Williams, God rest his soul.
Oh, he's my favorite.
One of the most beautiful dramatic actors that we've ever seen. You know, him and Good Will Hunting. Wow.
Oh, Patch Adams makes me cry every time.
Patch Adams, he has such a tenderness about him, and you could tell that he has a huge heart.
And Mrs. Doubtfire is one of your favorites, isn't it? I feel like no.
I love everything and anything Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You know, and when he passed, that was a rough one for me. That was a rough one for me. You know, because I know, like me, for example, I don't deal with heavy subjects well.
You make jokes.
I make jokes. You know,
But that's also why you're so you're really great in trying moments. You are so good at always knowing the right thing to say. That's a skill that I wish I had that you have. I am at a loss for words in trying times, and you are so good at knowing the right thing to say.
Well, thank you for that. I don't ever feel like I am. I always tell people, you ask me to get in front of a crowd and make them laugh, I could do that all day forever. You ask me to do a wedding speech, I get nervous.
No, you're good at those too. You just always say inappropriate shit.
Well, because I'm trying to make a laugh, right? Trying to get a laugh out of it. But it's because I have a hard time dealing with. I think a lot of comics like me have a big heart. You know, I care so much for people, and you know, I deal with the dark side, and you know that.
Yeah.
You know, I go through moments of you know, where I feel inadequate, where I feel grumpy that my career is not where it should be, and you know, I go fuck it all, fuck everything, and nobody cares, and what am I doing, and why am I continuing to do this, and you know, I go through those moments, but I think that that's why comedians can be wonderful dramatic actors, because I will say this: you cannot teach an actor to be funny.
Comedy is a different monster for sure.
A comedian can go back and be an actor. A comedian can go back and do dramatic acting. You cannot take a dramatic actor and make them a comedian.
Not a stand-up comedian, no way.
You can't. It's too hard. You know, because whatever we have created or have found, it was honed. You know, I mean, I've been doing this 20 years.
Yeah.
It's taken a long time.
No, stand-up's a different beast.
You know, it's a whole another animal. And Rick, do you find what I'm saying to be true at all, or because you're a director, you're a producer?
Yeah, I think for the most part that's true. But it is interesting when you see someone that is dramatic, like when Kings of Comedy, you know, with De Niro. Like, he's not a guy, but it certainly layered an interesting level to it.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, there's a movie called Punchline with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. Yeah. And I just don't think that Tom Hanks pulled it off.
No,
but that's even different. I think an actor, a dramatic actor, can go and do comedic roles, no problem. And I think a dramatic actor can play a comedian. I think a dramatic actor could play a comedian for sure. But I think to actually get on stage and pull it off all the time in front of a live audience is something different.
Because it was Tom Hanks, and then I got to show you that movie.
Yeah,
it's a great movie. And Sally Field is a.
We talked about this because I know a play Punchline, and you said no, it's different because I haven't seen the movie.
And Sally Field decides to do open mic, and Tom Hanks decides to.
We can watch it on our road trip to Jacksonville, Florida. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
That's where we're going this weekend. But I also think that most comedians like me are observers.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
We observe humanity. We observe,
even if it's just the way you observe your everyday life, because you're looking for material.
Well, but it's hard for me because, you know, I have also made a decision that the things I do on stage are going to be real.
Yeah.
Right. I made that decision, and a lot of times I'll say or do something really, really funny, but I can't take it on stage because it's like, well, it's just funny. You know.
Yeah.
The bit I'm doing right now that we're getting ready for the new theater tour. The bit I'm doing right now about my father and the way I learned hard work from him and the home I grew up in, and then I take you into that pickup truck that he drove to work every day. I was telling Dave I could easily do that joke in a way that is surface level, right? I could easily do that joke. Remember when we used to get in those old trucks?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I could tell that story like that. It's still funny, but when I add the layer of this was my father's truck that he worked hard in, and I drove in that truck every once in a while, and it was horrible for me. You know, he did it every day. So when you add that layer of humanity to it, and you add the lesson that I learned from that.
And it's so cool because I hear people love that joke right now, and they'll come after they see a show and they're like, oh my God, my dad had that truck too. And it's just really neat because it was such a personal story to you. That was never the intent, but so many people, again, shared that experience with you.
So I'm on stage, first or second show Saturday. I start doing that bit, and the woman in the front row bawling.
Crying? Like crying with laughter, or crying like emotional?
Mascara going down her face. And then she would laugh. But I mean, she was really taken. And to the point where when I was done, she was literally front row on the stage. I took a knee and I said, are you okay? And she goes, I'm more than okay. She goes, you made me think of my hardworking mother and father.
Yeah.
She goes, and I just lost them.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to say.
You know, and I go, but it's that's what my stand-up, what I try to do.
Yeah.
I try to bring you to a place where there's love and emotion, things you care about, right? And I think that's what separates me apart from, well, I don't just do marriage humor.
Yeah.
I don't just walk on stage and be like, bitches be like, you know how bitches be,
No, that's just what you said to me yesterday.
No, but I like to get into the relationship.
Yeah.
Right? I like to say things that make people understand. Right now I'm telling the story about how me and you ended up together. Right?
Which is something, it's really cool. When my parents saw the show, and where were we all together? In Philly, right? They saw the show. They hadn't seen it in a long time, and they thought that was sweet because that's a story that you have been trying to figure out how you want to tell or how you want to bring it in for a long time, and it'll make its appearance for a couple of shows, and then it goes away.
Well, now
you think it's sticking around.
Oh yeah, it's going to be part of the theater tour.
Yeah.
But and it was also one of those things where I'm like, wait a minute, you guys all met me, and I've been telling stories about me and my wife. Well, wait a minute, here's a prequel. Here's how we ended up together.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, we shouldn't be together. So I had to find the tone of the joke
To connect it to the set.
and the tone of the joke now is me and this girl should not be together.
Yeah.
However, we are a match made in heaven. We are meant for each other. I am the only one that can put up with you.
I was going to say, do you tell them that?
I am the only one that can put up with you, and you're the only one that can put up with me.
I feel like that's so true.
And we should not be together. On paper, if they were to say these two people are going to end up happily married.
Yeah, if we had met during the days of eHarmony when you have to fill out the
There's no fucking way they match us.
There's no way.
No way they match us. Here we are, and I said that on stage. Here we are, valid Victorian of our high school, and here I am, barely got out of high school.
Yeah.
Here you are, a planner, a well put together person. I'm a fucking mess. I'm a fuck it guy. So when I do that, and then in the set, I always try to find that moment where, and a lot of comedians don't know this, you don't always have to be funny.
Yeah.
It's okay to have silence. It's okay to take that moment and go, if I'm being honest, I'm glad she moved in with me because she made me a better man.
Yeah.
And then there's a joke of, well, the reason she made me a better man is because she can live without me and I can't live without her. And we are in an unbalanced relationship.
Oh, that's not true.
But for the joke, right? And for
Yeah.
the story of, these two people should not be together. And as ambitious as I am and as aggressive as I am for the things that I want, I truly never thought that you'd end up with me. I tried and it worked. But, like I say in the
What
bit,
did you think was going to happen?
well, every girl I dated before you had glitter on their tits. So I never thought a classy girl. I mean, at that time I was smoking cigarettes. I was overweight. I was partying all the time.
No,
I never
you
thought
had gotten on like Herbalife and you were
when we
a
first
medium.
met. When we first met.
Yeah.
And then I gained it all back and you stayed with me.
Yeah.
But that's my point is that as funny as that story is, there has to be the through line. And what is the thread? And the thread is that me and this girl should not be together.
Yeah.
Not only we're complete opposites. We're literally complete opposites. And at the end of the thing to sit there and go, and we've been together ever since.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful moment. And I think a lot of people feel that moment and go, yes, I should not be with this person.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, me and this person work in the whole, scheme of things, right?
Do you always wonder that? I always wonder that, like completely unrelated to your joke, but like would things be easier in a relationship if we were more compatible? or I don't know that compatible is the word, but if we were more similar, like the people who met in the days of internet dating when they had to fill out the questionnaire.
I don't know. That's a really good question, but
I always wonder that when I see couples who I feel like they have so much in common. I'm like, I want to go in their house. I want to be in their home and see what that's like.
But what we have the important things in common.
Yeah.
Right? We want to be good parents.
Yeah.
We want to be good to each other. We believe in God. We want to set ourselves up for the future.
Yeah.
Right? So all the important things that truly, truly matter, we have in common.
Yeah.
We both want better for our kids. We both want our God in our kids' lives. Like all the big things, you know, we want to
see eye to eye on. Yeah.
You know, but the personality things we don't.
Yeah.
Right. And I always tell that about my act as well. If you ever watch my show and maybe you don't realize it, every story that I tell, Renae is right and she's also wrong. I am right and I am also wrong. Uh-huh. And almost every story I tell.
Yeah, I guess I've never noticed. Now I want to watch the set through that lens.
You know, it's like the joke I'm trying to write right now that I'm fumbling through on stage about you stealing the kids' party.
Yeah.
Right. You getting involved and going, well, I don't want to throw a party. And I'm going, it's not a party. It's fucking pizza and a bouncy house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, the girls, we got to get together and it's got to be a party. It's not a party. It is bouncy house and pizza. You were wrong for trying to get involved.
Yeah.
Because we had it figured out.
Okay, but then...
But you're right in the fact that what is wrong with a mommy trying to have something better for her kids?
I think you and I need to go through this discussion over again, Ed, so that we can discuss what actually happened, and that'll help you flesh out the joke.
That's what actually happened.
I'll make you realize how I'm right and you're wrong.
Exactly. But that's the point of what I'm talking about. You are not wrong, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
I am not wrong in asking you not to get involved, right?
Yeah.
I am right in saying, look, we want to be simple. We just want to do pizza, and we just want to do...
People right now are like, what the heck are they talking about? You'll have to come see the theater door and hear the joke.
But it's like, it's like the story about you coming home and being the auctioneer.
Yeah.
Right? You were not wrong for wanting and being excited to share with your husband your
How
deals.
much money I saved him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I am not wrong in telling you you're annoying me. But hey, Steve, what's wrong with appeasing your wife and letting her tell you the story?
No.
Hey, Renae, maybe don't tell the story. Right? So there's always a yin and a yang to all of it. By the way, Rick, you've been around me a very long time. You're very close to the situation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or am I losing my mind?
Oh, I love it when you put me in these situations.
You're right and you're wrong. Just tell him, Rick. You're right and you're wrong.
I got a bad connection. I didn't hear any of it.
But do you find that you and Gigi are very different people, but have same life goals? Is that the same thing for you guys?
Yeah, but also too, when you're with someone for so long, the goals change, and I also found that once you hit a goal, you found out it's not really what you expected, so you set new goals, and then that whole situation continues. Yeah,
no, it's funny you say that because we were sitting with our bankers and all that bullshit, and I go, we're just so happy to be in our dream home, and then she goes, oh, for now, she goes, until the dream changes. And I do believe that the dream does change, right, and grows, and ultimately, and Jake said something so funny yesterday, where he goes, because we went to this meeting yesterday, and he goes, I've made the decision, instead of buying $100,000 car, I'm going to buy a $30,000 car and spend the other amount of money on a driver. And I thought that was so funny, because it's like, do you ever think like that?
Yeah.
Right? Do you ever think well, instead of my monthly payment being this, it can be this, and now I could have a driver, right? Steve, you drive a Corolla? Yes, but I have a driver, right?
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
No, but what Rick was saying made me think about what you just this morning. You said, "Hey, I just want you to know, I think we're getting better at life together. Like, I think we're getting better at it together." And I was like, "Yeah, I think it helps that Delilah's 18 months now. That Delilah's getting easier."
No, but I also think that we are getting better at. It's not worth it. It's not worth the fight.
Yeah.
It's not worth the energy.
Yeah.
You know, but
life has taught us that. At least life has taught me that things.
The thing that keeps running in my head is spaghetti.
Spaghetti? What's spaghetti?
When we got which by the way is on stage now, we got into an argument because I made the spaghetti for lunch and not dinner, and at one point Renae and I are like, I'm going, what's the big fucking deal? She's like, because I had it set aside for dinner, and I had bread, and I don't know why you made it for lunch. And we're arguing. And then we end up, whatever, I don't know, 2 days later, we were arguing about something petty, and I just go, spaghetti, and you were like, yeah, fuck it. It's not even worth arguing over. It's so stupid. So I think our safe word is spaghetti.
Yes,
spaghetti. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Renae
We're just going to title it Spaghetti.
Yeah. Renae, some people have code words for how far they're willing to take sex, and we have code words for how far
it's time to stop the fight.
The stupid fight. Yeah,
the petty argument.
But we're so glad that you joined us, and as always, my wife is absolutely beautiful, and I should not be with her, but I am.
Aw, thank you, baby.
We love you guys so much, and to Shannon, congratulations.
Yes.
We will see you in Austin. Texas. A lot of dates coming along, and just to be clear, so many people say, "Hey, Steve, we see your tour posters." So just to be clear, a lot of the posters that are going out are the theater dates. That does not mean that we're not coming to your town. We have a lot of comedy club dates. So stevetrevino.com, I'm probably coming to your city because we get hit up a lot.
And if you look, I always tell people just sign up for the email list so you know when tickets go on sale in your city. If they just scroll down to your website, there's a place they can put in their emails. We do not bug them and bombard them with tons of crazy emails. It's so that they are the first to know when you're coming to their city.
We love you guys. I can't tell you enough what a beautiful life me and my wife and my kids live because of you. And I will never, I promise you that I will never forget that. Thank you so much. Steve and Captain Evil, do me a favor. Please share, please like, and please support the people who support us. Thank you.